the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it. That is my favorite scripture. I think it, I speak it every day because it is his day, and I'm going to rejoice and be glad in it. I'm Greg Davis. Of course, usually sitting next to me is Lady Nicole, but it's been such bad weather in the Midwest, and we're praying for all of you that might have went through the Midwest snowstorms and all that stuff. I was actually on the road myself, and so I told Lady Nicole, I said, you need to stay home this week. And so I'm solo, and I'm saying, hey, Lady Nicole, my co-host, but it's a terrific day to be tuned in because you know what? We're between 2013 2014, and you know what? I'm not just saying it as a cliche, but I'm expecting great things for the new year, and I believe whatever I speak right now, that's what I'm going to get in my new year, and I'm just going to say it until I'm going to say it until I see it. That's what I'm going to do. And today, he is the author of a book called Schedule for Success, Who Told You, and on and on. He is a motivational speaker. I had a chance to go and be with him kind of out of my element. He kind of pulled me out of my element because I'm used to standing and preaching, and I went to a motivational weekend that he had there in Minneapolis, and it was just powerful. And I want to personally also thank him because he makes sure that I have me some wonderful meat, because he also owns a meat company, and we're going to talk about all those things. But the main thing today, there's going to be a phone number on the screen, and maybe your life is not the way it should be. Maybe your finances is not the way it should be. He don't have any money to give you, but he can give you the wisdom that you need to get what it is that you're trying to get. His name is Paul D. Jones. He is becoming a regular here. He's a motivational speaker. He's a coach, and he's my friend. Welcome, sir.
Hey, how are you, sir?
Welcome back.
Thanks for having me back. That means we must have did something right the first time.
Now, let me ask you this. You have on this blue today.
Yes, sir.
And here in the city of Detroit, for those of y'all that are watching, the city is lit up with Hawaiian blue because Monday Night Football is going to be the Lions.
Right.
Is it by chance you would have that blue on because you're in Detroit?
Well, I figured I'd have to represent so I could be a native, because wherever I go, I make myself at home.
All right. Well,
yes.
you know, today they're doing that, so you right on. I want to get right to it, and I want those of you that are watching to call from across the country. If you're trying to figure out what is it that I need to do, you need some principles in your life to move from where you are to where you should be. It is not by a mistake today that you have tuned in to good news. We got some good news for you. The number will be on the screen throughout the program. They'll alert me and let me know that you're on the line. We're taking live phone calls today. I'm going to let them loose in the second half of this program too today and just let them speak to you. We are between the old year and the new year. It's about 15 days left in the year.
Yes.
What should we be doing to prepare for what's coming in the new year?
Well, like in my book, Schedule for Success, I always talk to people about auditing. You know, mostly when we hear the word audit, we're thinking like accounting or like a tax audit. But we have to audit our schedules to look at what didn't we like. You know, we knew where we wanted to be going from 2012 going into 2013. So we have to audit that schedule. We have to look at ourselves and say, you know what worked and what didn't work, so that when we move forward, we won't just start making cliches. You know, I tell people I don't make resolutions, I make reservations. You know,
good.
I reserve what I want in life. So the same likewise, if we're going to meet at a restaurant and we know that we made reservations for 6 p.m. at that time, then everything that you do prior to that makes your schedule match to where you say you want to arrive. And that's what people need to first do. You know, husbands and wives, I speak to a lot of the 18 to 25 to 30-year-old groups. They need to sit down and say, you know what, realistically, where do you really want to be and where do you want to go? And then start reserving time in your schedule to make sure that you get there.
You make it sound so easy.
Yes.
To those that are watching, 313-564-5700, 313-564-5700. Any questions, any comments you want to ask him, the hard questions about life, that's what he's here for. He's here the whole program to coach you. I can just make reservations to what it is in life. What about the things that happen in my life that are not scheduled, though?
Well, you're going to always have those things that just happen to pop up that, regardless, on my way out here, my wife started the car, got it going, and somehow the door is locked. So we had to call AAA to get the doors unlocked. You will always have to adjust, but that's when the mental attitude comes in. It's not what happens to you. It's how you respond to what happens to you.
That's good.
And if you have negative seeds sown in you, because the mind is like the earth, if I have a corn seed and I have poison ivy, well, those are still seeds going in. So picture your mind being like that. So now, if you have poison ivy constantly going in, then when something happens that is not the way you want it, then you're going to spill out poison. But if you have good going in and something happens, then you're going to adjust, and the adjustment will make it back and reroute you, like a navigation on your car. It will.
But I still can get there.
You can still get there.
It may take a little while longer.
You're going to be rerouted, but you'll get there.
Now, you said it's not what happens, but it's how I respond
Yes.
to what happens. So many times I believe, and you correct me because this is your flow, I think sometimes we panic and we cause things to be worse than they really are.
Right. Well, when people panic, that's almost like a meditation. You know how Jesus said, do not worry. It's almost playing that mindset of like, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Well, no, you have to expect the best. And trust me, no one expected a car accident to happen. It happens, but that's why we also have car insurance. So the problem gets fixed, but if you don't have the insurance, or if you don't have the things that cover you, so when that happens, so now I'm saying, if you have the right principles in order, and you have the right mindset, you have your heart in the right place, then when things happen, you still can make all the adjustments, everything's patched up to get you right back on to the right route. Other than that, you'll look at and you'll stop dead right there at the problem, and you'll meditate and focus on the problem, and you'll never see that the solution is right in front of you.
We're talking to Paul Jones. He is an author. He is a coach. He is a life coach. 313-564-5700. We have Lee on from Indiana. Hey, Lee.
Hello.
Hello, Lee.
Yes, hello.
How are you? What part of Indiana?
Indianapolis, Indiana.
Hey, Indianapolis. All right. What do you have to ask or comment on that Paul is talking about today?
I would like to talk to you about having chemical imbalances in the brain.
Okay.
I didn't hear everything.
She wants to ask about chemical imbalances in the brain. We're not doctors, nor psychiatrists, so it's kind of hard for us to answer that.
Well, it's kind of like this. The only thing I can speak on with being chemically imbalanced is just what the word says. You're chemically imbalanced. So you have to focus yourself on where you want to be. Because no matter what, if we're on a ship and that ship is swaying back and forth, they still have the compass there. So no matter what's going on, when you stay on that compass and you put your mental compass on, which is what receiving good word, if you know better, no matter what else is said, it's kind of like the father speaks and the sheep hears the sheep head's voice. Mm-hmm. So when you know the right voice, you know exactly what it's supposed to be. Then when things get unbalanced, you can get back on point by looking at that compass and say, you know what, this is where it's supposed to be. Right now we're unbalanced. If I'm flying a plane or whatnot, then that's going to put that thing right back on to the degree you need it to be at.
And Lee, we're praying for you too, that balance. And that God will touch you and touch your mind. We're praying because even though we're talking principles, everything that Paul is talking about is biblically sound and founded. And pastors, if you're watching, his information will be on the screen. We want you to get Paul in the new year to come and speak to your congregation. I think sometimes we get intimidated just because a person may not have reverend on it,
right,
or may not have elder on it, but you can still be called to do what you're called to do in the vineyard without a title.
That's correct.
Yeah. 313-564-5700. So we're scheduling our reservation. We're getting everything in order for the new year.
Yes.
We realize that stuff that's not scheduled will happen. So in that case, we may have to take a detour, may take a little while longer, but we still have to keep on pressing toward
Yes.
that which we have been. I'm going to ask you a question that everybody asks. How do I know exactly what I've been called and purposed to do in life?
That's a wonderful question. You know, for me, it's that certain hunger that you'll have. You know, a lot of times, and one, just to add on, as you're going into that new year, you have to get rid of the junk. That's the point of auditing it, is you have to see what has weighed you down, because it's,
And that could be people.
yeah, that could. Oh, I know it's people.
Your circle.
Yeah, I make adjustments on a regular, you know, so you have to, because sometimes people will connect with you, and just to get to a certain point where your heart's involved and you love them genuinely, where they're only with you for what they can gain, you know, so you get that. But moving forward is, once a person's really in that right mindset and they're going off their passion will call them. They don't know what it'll be. You'll sit and you'll be uncomfortable where you are, and you won't know why you're just not having this comfort. And you'll see something or you'll hear something, and all of a sudden your ears will perk up, you know. And that's that calling. You don't know what it looks like. You know, I didn't know. Growing up, they used to tell me, "Boy, you're gonna be a preacher. You're gonna be a pastor." And I'm like, "No, I'm not." You know. And then next thing you know, I was in front of the room teaching at sales conferences, and I was like, oh, that's what they saw, you know. So it's a matter of,
And you have to find people that see in you
yes,
what you don't even see.
right,
And what they're really doing is stirring up
the gift.
what's already in you.
Yes.
Robert Reed is on the line from Michigan. Robert, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. I'd like some comments on something that I wanted to discuss about relationship. I've been married 4 times, and every relationship, I literally say, first of all, the first one I didn't treat her right, and the rest of them, I really put my heart into it. But even so, I wound up divorced. And as I make comments to people about, I had 5 beautiful wives, and they say, well, what was wrong with you then? The reason why I'm saying this here is because even after I had 4 relationships, I'm still friends with every one of them, and they all still say they love me. But there was no infidelity on my part or their part that I know of. But they did leave. And anyway, I wanted to say one more thing. I had a relationship with a lady for 2 years, and I told her I was going to treat her like God wanted me to do. We had a 2-year relationship, nothing physical. And anyway, we were getting married, and unfortunately, she got sick that weekend, and I flew back to Michigan, and when I called, they rushed her to the hospital, she died. But as a result of all that, there was a book that I wrote, because she wrote me 400 letters in 2 years, and I published some of them. And I just wanted to make comment, why is it that I get the attitude that people think that if all these beautiful women were that wonderful, what happened to the relationship?
Robert, hold on. Just listen to the answer. Here you have somebody that says he's been in 4 relationships, marriages that didn't work, no infidelity. What do you say to him?
My first question would be the courtship. How well did you get to know them? Because when you're building upon a relationship, you know, it's give intake. You know, you're going to take something from them, and some of the things that you're going to have to take from them, you may not agree with. Likewise, they have to take something from you, and they may not always agree with what you give them. And it's that balance, as we spoke about with the first caller, it's that balance to come to a happy medium to have a discussion. But it's sometimes the courtship may not be, you know, sometimes people are in love with the idea of being married, when you have to be in love with the relationship lasting, because marriage is for a lifetime, you know, so you have to look at it from that standpoint, you know. And as we say, we're not, you know, I'm not a true marital counselor, but I would say, what was the courtship in all the relationships, and did you bring the past relationship into the new relationship? Because as you're going in life, that does work the same in the business world. I have a concept in my teachings called new business, new mind. And that's what this brings me to think about, is that everything is new. you can't go into the new relationship bringing anything of the old. If you were the manager at Taco Bell, you can't go now manage Burger King and start talking about, well, this is the way they did it at Taco Bell. You have to adapt your way to that new season, because it is just that, a new season, a new relationship, and new growth. So the old growth is cut off. The new growth is where the harvest is.
And if you're talking 4 times and you can't put your finger on it, why? Chances are you have to examine yourself. And that's what I want to say to Robert. We don't know all the extenuating circumstances, but, I always try to examine myself. And you're right. You can't take the old into the new. 313-564-5700. Getting the junk out.
Yes.
Sometimes may mean people. Sometimes the junk is people. Is that a fact?
That is.
Why is it so hard for us to hit the button on past relationships, past people that why is it so hard for us to get rid of them?
It's funny, but people like to be liked. And there's a way of moving forward, it's a way of moving forward where you just know that, hey, this relationship is, I can see it dwindling right here. It's a toxic situation. So if you find yourself in a situation where it's just give, or as the word in Proverbs says, the leech says give and give me more. Well, at the end of the day, somewhere along the line, it has to be a win-win. But you also have those who just really are just going to destroy anything around you, and that's kind of like whether it's in sales, it's in business, it's in a personal relationship, and even in churches. I've seen where ministers and pastors had to ask people to please step aside because you're trying to dictate your agenda into this new day. And that is an old mindset. And a lot of times when you have changed mentally, people come around now and they say, oh, Paula, you changed. And they'll be referring to my conduct in high school and my conduct, in college. And, remember we used to go out and party and do this and that. And I'll smile and look at them and say, well, you got to get to know me now. It's like, I enjoy life, but no, that's not me. So I can bring those people into this new day because I don't behave that way anymore.
We have Travis on the line from South Carolina. Travis, hello.
Hey, how you doing?
I'm excellent. What part of South Carolina?
Newberry.
All right. What do you have to ask or comment?
I got to ask. I don't know too much to do with this situation. I had 2 people pray for me. I had 2 people pray for me to cast out a demonic spirit. And after I got the spirit cast out, I received the Holy Ghost 2 or 3 days later.
Okay, what's your question?
The question is, the spirit still come back on me. What am I supposed to do then? I'm still getting the same resort, the same spirit coming back on me. What am I supposed to do in that situation now?
Okay, this is what I want you to do, because I don't think some of you all are watching what we're talking about, but I want you to consult your pastor, because I'm not going to give that kind of answer. Consult your pastor, the local church that you go to. We're talking to Paul Jones, the number 313-564-5700. We're talking about going into the new year. If you have questions about the new year and moving forward, that's what we're talking about today. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to see what Paul is doing, and we're going to come back and he's going to talk about financial literacy. You being financially ready for 2013. So get your pen, get your questions in this area, not any other area. I'm Greg Davis, and this is Good News.
Hi, my name is Paul Jones. I'm the author of Who Told You You Were Broke, as well as my newest book, Schedule for Success. See, I want you guys to understand simple principles behind a schedule.
You may have $1 million idea, but only a well-planned and executed schedule can make it $1 million. Great thoughts become great deeds only when put into action, and successful action requires a plan.
When you are working for success, you have to look at that schedule with a certain priority, with a certain passion, because what's on that schedule is mapping you out to your destiny of where you want to be.
Turn your schedule into stepping stones for success.
You can see things that are working and you can see things that are not working. And then you can adjust that schedule to make sure that you arrive at the destiny that you want in life.
Paul D. Jones' Schedule for Success shows how planning the effective use of time and resources reduces stress and maximizes effectiveness at achieving true success in business, relationships, personal health and growth, faith, and life in general.
In fact, if you do not have a schedule, chances are in areas where you can be productive, you'll sit idle trying to figure it out. Anything that has idleness in it eventually dies.
Jones' knowledge, experience, and techniques make Schedule for Success a personal roadmap leading to inevitable success at the end of your journey.
I've succeeded in business, and you know what? I failed in business. But the difference is I didn't get down. I looked at where I may have had setbacks, and I adjusted, and now here we are today, still thriving and moving ahead.
The book is a real self-help manual that we all can take lessons from towards the ultimate goal. Dionne Warwick, singer, actress, and TV show host.
Paul D. Jones takes you beyond the dreaming and wishing stages of business with strategies for taking actionable steps to make those business dreams a reality. Sonia Aline, Multimedia Editorial Director, Black Enterprise.
Paul D. Jones' book is a must-read. Two-time Grammy Award winner and radio personality James M. Toomey.
Pick up Schedule for Success, and you'll understand what I'm talking about when you implement the spiritual values of having success. God bless. I'll see you at the top.
Shape your schedule today to match the future you desire tomorrow. It's time to schedule for success. PaulieJones.com. Facebook.com/Schedule for Success.
And he's here right now, Paul D. Jones. And of course, I love what he's talking about. Now, we're going into 2014.
Yes, sir.
And even as we may re-air this, might be 2000. How can we be financially equipped for 2014?
Well, there's several things. Number one, we gotta set a goal. You know, that's one thing that most people actually don't do. We will say what we want in life, but we don't put the financial value to what we're saying we want. So it's almost like a mystery. You know, you hear people say, "Oh, in 2014, I'm getting a new car." Then it's like, "Okay, how's your credit?" Because number one, we have to figure out how the credit is, because we need credit monitoring. And, you know, and this is a new day and age. I encourage everyone to get some kind of credit monitoring going on for this specific reason. Excuse me. Today, to get a job, they're going to check your credit. To get car insurance, they're going to check your credit. So not just to get the credit card or to buy the car and do the things that we think credit is used for. Credit is one of the number one things that affect our future that we ignore. And what's happened is, especially in certain communities, it's almost become a joke. It's like when you say credit, ooh, my credit burnt up. Well, now we have to listen to that and say, fix it. Because there's things that you can do about that. So once we get our credit in order, now when you go into this new year, new life, now you're getting things at a better interest rate. And with that savings of money, now you can take the excess money to put into certain accounts or growth funds to create wealth. Because what a lot of people are doing is they're buying things which they're really collecting liabilities. And I get people to understand, especially when I go around the country and I teach, I get people to break the word up, liability. You know, the word lie is first. So anything that's lying to you about your ability, pay attention to it. And I think that when people put together certain words, they literally must have said, you know what, we're going to put the truth right in their face and then have them ignore it. And so liabilities are things that take value from you. So therefore, that new car, that brand new, fresh off the lot, well, the minute you drive it off the lot, it's already depreciated. And we can't see money going away from us, but depreciation means money lost. Period.
I had a chance to be at your, and I think this is a good time to mention, to be at your weekend,
Wealth Day, yeah.
your Wealth Day, and Famous Dave.
Yeah.
spoke, and I think out of all the speakers, of course, next to you,
Yes.
he really impacted me and my wife because he shared that he's been driving the same Suburban,
Yes.
got 250,000 miles on it. Now, this man, I mean,
$500 million company.
he can buy whatever he wants to buy.
Yes.
But he's driving one car, 250,000 miles. And that made me think, I have a Hummer, and it has like 150,000. I'm like, I'm driving it until the wheels fall off.
There you go.
All my cars, I'm driving until the wheels. And I've always been of this mindset that cars depreciate. And I don't care if it's a Rolls Royce or Bentley, whatever it is. They still depreciate. And so I really don't like car notes. I like saving up, paying cash, because at the end of the day, I have nice cars, but it may not be a 2014.
There you go.
But guess what? Back then, they were made better anyway
Yes.
than they're being made today. So I really caught a hold to that. So I hope they're listening to you.
Right.
Because we're trying to look good. And that stuff that we buy, the day we buy it, it is depreciated.
Right. Well, we're caught up in the multimedia culture right now. So because of the power of the internet, the power of YouTube, videos, etc., people see a certain lifestyle, but they don't realize that there's stylists that give these entertainers, the artists, certain clothes, etc.
Definitely.
No one gave me this. I had to go to the store and buy it. Whereas when those who are in the entertainment world, they're given the car, they're given everything, because they know that people will go out and try to mimic that behavior, and they want to look like the star. However, I want people to go out and be wealthy, because I'll tell you, the biggest giver, Warren Buffett, the largest contributor today, when you speak about giving, well, this guy has given $1 billion in 2013.
Wow.
Mark Zuckerberg gave over $500 million in 2013. So I say there are church members who have the same Facebook talent. There are church members who have the same talent, or just people right there. And I was like, you know what? We need the pastors to bring up the people right in their congregations and show them that, act on that talent and that ability. Now let's see how the givings come around. But I want people to realize that some of the wealthiest people are the biggest givers, but they understand the difference between liabilities and assets. We have to get people, especially in the urban communities, to not being so focused on gathering liabilities, things that make them look good, and acting on the things that make them live good.
We have about a minute and a half. Bishop Martin from Georgia, right quick. Hello.
Hello, how you doing?
I'm good. What's your question? We only have about a minute.
Okay, my question is, if some of the things that are working for you already, but you say start things anew, should we keep working those things or change some new things?
Thank you. 30 seconds.
Well, things that are working, you definitely continue working on those. You just have to adjust and find out what's not working to be more efficient. And that's the more important thing. Find out ways to be better efficient so that you can grow into the future. And then raise the bar, set a higher goal so that you can get exactly where you want to be.
Paul, where can pastors and people reach you to get you? We got about 20 seconds.
Go to PaulieJones.com, PaulieJones.com, or mail at PaulieJones.com. So just do that.
The books are there.
Books are there. You can get our books anywhere that major books are sold. Who Told You You Were Broke? Schedule for Success. And then look out for this spring, my newest one, I Quit.
Ready for some good news?